Ready?
Sure.
All right. Well, hello, everybody, Science of Mind magazine fans. Welcome to the first ever after lunch special. I am Reverend Barbara Bew from Centers for Spiritual Living, and I'm super excited today to speak with Ellen Meredith, who is the author of this lovely book called The Language Your Body Speaks, Self-Healing with Energy Medicine. And we'll post links to that book in the chat as we're going along, but I'm very excited to speak with you today. Ellen is an intuitive and energy medicine practitioner with 35 years of experience, has been working and serving in the faculty of with energy medicine pioneer Donna Eden since 2010 and teaches this all over the world. And I just thought this is such a perfect time to talk, especially with our audience, about energy and life and what's happening out there in the world right now of this thing that we call COVID. That is having such an impact on people. And so welcome to the first after lunch special show. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Barbara. I'm really happy to be here.
Your book is fascinating. And I'm going to jump right in because I know that most of our audience understands energy at some level, or this idea of energetic field. But you say, even if you're doing an exercise focused on a particular sense, it is still a moment of tuning into a subtle energy. Remember, these are energies that make up your web of meaning. Yeah. I love that sentence, but I want you to tell us, what do you mean by web of meaning?
Okay, I love that that's what you chose out of the book. Good choice.
Thank you.
Okay, so when we hear about energy in everyday world, it's often scientificized to be sort of like these, electrons and neutrons and these neutral things. But in fact, the subtle energies that form the body, fuel the body, and organize the body's function are streams of energy that each have consciousness to them. They each have meaning. They're not neutral at all. So if you look at yourself, I mean, we all have heard from physics, that matter is energy, and we're all made up of energy, and it's hard to picture. But if you picture yourself as this web of strands of meaning, of energies that come together, your mind creates meaning, your spirit creates meaning, your body creates meaning. So it's this beautiful web of intersecting energies that we're always working on. We go out for a bike ride and we add another little strand of meaning to that creation of self. And we meditate and we add another strand of meaning to the creation of self. So I talk in the book about trying to shift our understanding of how we're made and how we function so that we can participate. It is the language. Energy is the language that your body speaks. So if we learn to speak energy, we get to participate in the creation of self, in body, mind, and spirit, talking to each other and making decisions about who Barbara's going to be or who Ellen's going to be and how we're going to be, including our physical health, our mental, emotional well-being, and our spiritual expressiveness.
So at the beginning, you kind of sound like we just have these, it's inherent, and that there's something in those energies that has already created meaning in us or with us. That comes from somewhere. Right. Okay. Right. And we can change those meanings or add layers to those meanings.
Yeah, we can work with them. They're like words in our vocabulary or strands in a weaving that we're making. And it's not this out there arcane principle. If you look at the color blue, it has a certain vibration to it. Right. And you look at the color red and it has a different vibration. And look at the color green, it's yet a different one. And we have this instrument designed to perceive those as three different things. And they mean different things to us. We create a personal relationship with red, green, and blue. And it's the same with all the subtle energies that they have a certain vibration. They form the energy body that, you know, that is our body. And but they're not neutral. They're not neutral. And in Chinese medicine, they talk about different meridians.
Mhm.
Each meridian operates a different organ, like spleen meridian operates spleen and pancreas, or liver meridian operates liver. But they each also have a different meaning or vibration. Liver meridian is about fulfilling your life purpose, and spleen energy is metabolizing energy. So this has been mapped in lots of different systems around the world. I'm not the first person who said this.
No. Oh, but
But
you do have like a beautiful, like what I liked about your book is that it has a lot of actual exercises and practices. I'm about the practical application of spiritual principle, you know, and
yes.
so in this time, it
Uh-huh.
feels it feels to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people who feel like they're being bombarded with some energy they can't even define right now or
Right.
explain or understand.
Right.
What do we do with that?
Okay. That's a great question. I call it the miasma. And you know, in my way of understanding it, it feels like the end of an era and the beginning of an era. And other people have described it as, you know, the end of the patriarchy, or the end of 2000 years of yang energy, which is do and being out there, and the birth of what they call empowered yin, or it's not female energy, but uh, inner inner purpose driving our outer purpose. And so as we watch this old era die, there's a lot of off gassing going on. And it's kind of, and it's creating this miasma around the planet. That's what I call it, because everybody I know is tired. They say, oh my gosh, I'm home. I have this long list of things I'd do if I had time, and I can't do any of them.
Right.
Yeah, and
Right. What is
that's
that?
it's the miasma. It's the off gassing of dying thought forms, ways of being, um, uh, ways of getting our needs met. We're having to shift gears and really learn a new way of being that's informed from within, that's informed from our spirit level, or spirit, mind, and body being more aligned, rather than knowing ourselves through our actions and through how we're defined in the world. It's a real shift in focus, and it's a wonderful symbol that we're all staying home right now. Or not all of us, many of us are, and bless those who are helping us do that.
Well, yeah,
But
totally.
one thing we're doing is we're gestating yin. We're gestating a deeper pool of being, rather than racking up more actions, a lot of us. And so how do you protect yourself from this miasma? Because it's like pollution, it's off gassing, energetic pollution. So I have an exercise that I call the SMART filter. We have an energy field around us that's called the aura in a lot of traditions, or the biofield if you want to be scientific about it. And at the edge of the aura, I'll do here, at the edge of the aura is something that I call a SMART filter. It's a filter that helps decide what comes in and what stays out. And most of us don't have much of a filter at all, because we don't know it exists. So a lot of people walk around with a SMART filter that looks like Swiss cheese, which means that anything can get into your field and bother you, and you spend a whole lot of your time and energy clearing your field, clearing the pollution out of your personal space. You know, you talk to someone and what they say, you know, triggers you, and then you've got all this crap, junk in your personal energetic space. So the stronger your SMART filter, the more it reflects your intention of what you want to invite in and what you want to keep out. And it's part of a whole mechanism I call the gatekeeper. It's just built in. It's your immune system. Let's just call it your immune system to be.
Okay.
So I'm just going to back up a little. So to strengthen your SMART filter, you're going to figure eight from between the me and the not me. Okay, so you're reaching out towards the edge of your aura. You don't have to know where it is, but you're figurating towards and away from you, as if you're reinforcing this filter at the edge of your aura. And I usually do it arms outstretched, just to send the energy to the edge of the aura. Some people have really big auras, others smaller, but all the way around, you just figure eight towards and away from you. And it's a big place. It's like a big egg, like a big eggshell around you. So you can call on helpers, you can get the fairies, you can get the, you know, the angels. I mean, I used to call on the UPS guys, but they're really busy right now, so I don't call on them. but whoever you want to get in there, and you know, if it's someone funny, even better, because radiance strengthens your filters, always radiance and joy strengthens the filters. And
So you could not call in like entities, but call in an energy like of laughter or of joy
yeah,
or
or
yeah,
entities. Grandma, she's dead, she's not doing much, come on, help me
she
out
loves
here.
me. Yes,
She loves me, she'll do it.
she loves me. So
So whoever, and
yeah,
you can put a color in it, and whatever. I don't recommend white, because white is the color that lost souls head towards. They head towards the white light, and you don't want to be it. So put a little tint in it and put a color in it, because that color is an energetic message. And just intuitively, whatever color you want, you can change it like outfits all day long. But it's the the action of talking to your energies using gesture and movement and intention that sets the field, sets the energy field to receive certain things and reject certain others. And it's very, very effective. When I teach classes, I could demonstrate how before we do the exercise, I could sit there and think nasty thoughts, and the person's energy just loses it. We do energy testing. And then after they do the smart filter, I stand right next to them. I think nasty thoughts, and they're strong as anything. Because even if someone's in your field and they're thinking nasty thoughts, if you've got a strong smart filter with a clear intention of me, not me, it will take the bad energy, suck them out, and send them back to the universe, wherever they go.
That's what I keep thinking about the coronavirus actually, is could we just send it back into the nothingness from which it came?
Right.
So also in your book, you say in everyday language, we talk about body, mind, and spirit almost as separate things.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at a person energetically, I see these three dimensions as interrelated within the spectrum of who they are. This doesn't take special psychic powers. Look in the mirror. Talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So when I look in the mirror, here's my body, and my clothes and my hairdo. And then I sort of see my personality. I'm going, hi, Ellen, hi, Ellen. That's my talking self. My body self, I call earth elemental self. The talking self is the personality, or the part that creates identities and storylines. And then we have the wiser self, which is the spirit or the soul that animates us. And it's not hard to see those three. If you look into your eyes and gaze soulfully, you really see that being, and you see it in other people. Even if they're being jerks, you can see the soul that's there, right? So it doesn't take the special psychic powers. It just takes an awareness that we're actually a spectrum of being. And the body is very much in the present, in the now, and needs to be attended to in the now. She has agendas in the now. So if my body is thirsty, she's not going to sit on a meditation cushion and have transcendent experiences very well. She's got her agenda, and she's the instrument. And if my talking self, it is not in the now, it travels all over. I can go back to 20 years ago and visit my aunt in my mind. I can go forward into after we're out of, shelter at home, and see what the world might be like. The imagination travels all over, and there's many, many realities that the mind travels through. Every time I watch TV, I go through storyline after storyline, and we're designed for the body to kind of implement some of those agendas of the talking self, of the mind. But if we have too many agendas, the body gets very clogged with conflicting instructions. And then we're also tuned into that deeper guidance. We have a built-in guidance system from, you can call it the soul or the spirit or just the wiser self. And that too is, I think of it like the drum beat, it keeps the rhythm of self, like the heart keeps the rhythm of self. And it allows us to orient in our different dimensions and kind of keep steady on our course. But we really are a committee of three with three different agendas and probably some things in between. It's a spectrum. Yeah.
So in the physical one, and related again to kind of now, I talked to there. I know that I'm experiencing this. There's this part of my body that says, okay, go out, go for a bike ride, go out, do this thing. And there's this other part of me that's like, you need some rest.
Right.
And I don't know why I need rest, because normally I would not need rest in that.
Right.
Right. So
right.
It feels like there's a pull, and I feel like in communities like ours, Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living, New Thought, that we're a little head in the know of what it is that we are trying to create. Like we've had
Yeah.
this thing for a long time of creating a world that works for everyone. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's what's being birthed to some degree.
Right. Right.
And birthing takes action. It also takes rest.
Uh-huh.
How do we help people to take care of themselves? I try to
Uh-huh.
remember, I try to remind people that like our best decision making really comes when when we're taking care of ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Okay.
where do we
That's
go in here?
a good question. Good question. The brain has the mind, the talking self has a lot of ideas of what it looks like to take care of yourself. Good nutrition, good exercise, good this, good that. It's got this whole list. But the body has a built-in guidance system that really tells you what you need. And if we can tune in and listen to and respond in kind to the guidance system, often we get a more effective instrument that really can do everything that's needed. That we can't live our lives and leave the body not get the memo, right? The body has to get the memo of the agendas of the wiser self and talking self. If it doesn't, you can have all the will in the world, but you're too tired. Your body will start putting the brakes on. So one thing that I teach in the book and I talk about in various places is getting more precise in something that I call energy dialogue. It's all day long. We're interacting with this creature self, this earth elemental. We're interacting mind, body, spirit. And we want to get a little more precise. So when you feel a need to rest, is it sleep? Is it daydreaming?
Hmm.
Is it gestating? Is it just sitting still so that body processes can happen or you can gestate new ideas or new visions? We're in a time where we're really switching gears. That everything that is not sustainable is collapsing, falling apart, exploding. And we weren't doing it quick enough. So Mother Nature came along and said, oh, you think you can destroy me? Guess what? I can take you out in 3 weeks. So we're being
Go
asked,
home.
go
Yeah.
home, go home.
There's
And we
this thing
did.
that floats around Facebook that says, here's Mother Nature saying, hold my beer.
And that's so true. And I mean,
Yeah.
that isn't to ignore all the suffering that people are
No,
going
not at
through. Not
all.
at all.
Not at
But to
all.
just say that we're being asked to gestate, to rest, to shift gears. And whenever you shift gears, there's a moment where you can't, when you hit the gas and nothing happens, you can't engage. And so we're kind of culturally and spiritually at a time of shifting gears. And when you're driving your car and you put the clutch in, those of you who remember automatic, whatever that is, the standard, there's a time where you're not engaged. You can't accelerate. Then you put it in the new gear and you can. So we're being asked to listen inward to find out what that new gear is for each of us and to disengage from the other gear that was making us accelerate beyond what the body, mind, or spirit could really tolerate. I mean, life was getting more and more intense and faster and, harder to take. And people were off gassing horrible energies all around them. And, it was starting to be very, very polluted. And I think it's wonderful that the earth is already clearing her air
Yeah.
with this.
It reminds me of dancing in a way. Like there's step, step, rest. Step,
Yeah.
step. There's always a rest. There's a rest step. Even our
Right.
heartbeat, even our heart,
Right.
the rest beat.
Right. And breathing. You don't just breathe in and breathe out. You breathe in, you rest,
Right.
integrate, take in, you breathe out, and you rest empty. And those two parts of that cycle, which are part of what keeps us alive, which is the taking in, integrating, and then resting empty. We're not so good at those. We're much better at the taking in or putting out. And so we're getting to learn a lot more about the integration side and the rest empty side, which is going to allow us to breathe more deeply, both physically, energetically, emotionally, culturally, spiritually. So it is, I mean, we're all getting a wonderful spiritual lesson and we don't even have to pay for a retreat or anything. Well, maybe we pay a little, right?
There are people paying, and that's
There are
one
people
of the
paying.
hard. That's one of the hard things I really want to
Right.
acknowledge here is that,
Right.
and I know that a lot of people are doing a lot of work to try to help those who are struggling. So I want to, continue to put that gratitude out about that.
Yeah. It's
But you
so
said
wonderful.
earlier you were talking about kind of going back to a more feminine energy. And I'm wondering if we're actually not, because if you look at history, long time ago we were very feminine energy,
Hmm.
and then we became very not and male energy, and maybe now. And
Hmm.
if you think about, if I think about the number of people who, young people particularly, who are not identifying as clearly male and or female, and that there's
Yes.
uh, this gender spectrum that it has always been, but that is emerging more clearly. That maybe we're in a shift to an actual greater balance
Yeah.
in in hopefully every way. Uh,
Right, right. That's wonderful observation. And when I said the word feminine, I probably should have put like big air quotes around it
no,
because
I know. I just
empowered yin. But yin is the receptive, it's the receptive energy, which is balancing all the excessive yang temporarily, but it's not passive. Think about the heart, which is a yin organ. It beats 24/7. All the yin organs work 24/7. So it's not what our mind says. But in terms of, are we coming to another place? Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've got, a young relative who describes herself as, what is it, gender non-binary, and
right. There's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
that.
lots of them, and
Very fun, but
yeah, I love it. And about 20, I'm a conscious channel as well as an energy medicine um, practitioner. And about 20, 25 years ago, my teachers came in and they said, over the next while, you're going to see a new chromosome coming in, and we're going to call it Z or Z, the last letter of the alphabet. And it's neither X nor Y, it's something different. And you're going to start seeing clients who have more Z in them, and they are not neither female nor male, but something different. And sure enough, I'm seeing more and more of this Z chromosome. And, they've identified it now in animals and plants. They haven't found it in humans yet. But it's kind of interesting to me that I think we as humanity are getting out of the either or, black, white, male, female, this oppositional thinking.
yes,
That's what's
yes.
moving out. And what's moving in is some both and thinking where we can encompass multiple dimensions of reality at once. I can be both this and that. I can skateboard and be a math whiz and play the piano. And I don't have to define myself by the one that the culture says is highest on the ladder of achievement.
And that somehow our minds are actually growing to encompass more of that, and
Right,
our bodies are matching that. We
right.
just have like another 2 minutes. Is there? I
Okay.
want to thank you. This is Ellen Meredith, by the way. This is her book, The Language Your Body Speaks: Self-Healing with Energy Medicine. There's a link in the chat if you would like to be able to purchase that book. What would you like to land everybody with besides "This too shall pass"?
Okay. I want to say that language, energy is our first language, and everyone can speak it. It doesn't take special psychic abilities. It doesn't take special gifts. It's, if you could speak English or some other verbal language, you can certainly remember that your body already knows how to communicate with you, and you know how to communicate with it. And during this era, the more we become attuned with this instrument, our body, the more it will guide us through this interesting and strange time.
Yes, trust. I keep saying faith, trust, and pixie dust. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you get the pixie dust in there when you do your smart filter,
Faith,
right?
trust, and pixie dust.
Pixies are great.
Thank you so much for. I could talk to you for another hour.
It would be
can
fun.
tell. So I really thank you so much for joining us today. This was our first launch of the after lunch special. If you are interested also in more mind body connection work, Science of Mind magazines has a very popular science and spirituality column by Mark Waldman and Dr. Andrew Newberg. Every month they share their latest neuroscience research and offer some step-by-step approaches to incorporating mindfulness into our daily lives. Highly important part of this whole energy experience, getting mindful in our everyday life. And right now, the digital subscription to the magazine is only $9.95 a year, which when I first read it, I was like, oh, $9.95 a month. That's great. Okay, I'll do that. And then I found out it was $9.95 a year, and I called and was like, what are we giving it away? Anyway, scienceofmind.com/subscribe, pick digital. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much again, Ellen, for joining us. Remember that you are loved out there.
Yeah.
Peace and blessings.
Thank you so much.